As day 2 of the El Portal fire arrived, so too did additional resources. Planes, engines, and manpower all aimed at getting this fire under control.
I've never seen anything like this before.
At the gates of Yosemite, an air show unlike any other.
Scary. Like it's not a good thing.
Flames raced up dry hillsides, tearing through over 2,000 acres near the town of El Portal. In nearby Foresta, at least one home destroyed, many others threatened.
So we've got just concerns with human safety, structures, parkland.
Hotshot fire crews spread out over rugged terrain using shovels and axes to stop the fire's spread. As 15 aircraft and dozens of fire engines flooded in from across the region. Helicopters like the one you see right here behind me are making non-stop drops to try to keep the El Portal fire from crossing the road. On the valley floor, tourists from around the world pulled over to capture the moment. One Carolyn Evans would rather forget.
When they knock on the door at 2 in the morning, you're thinking, we're in trouble.
Evans and her husband got out fast. They packed their car, picked up the dog, and came here to watch and worry, knowing their house could be next.
You think about, things that you don't need, clothes and, material things, but what do you really want? So yeah, it's a moment.
Both Foresta and El Portal remain under mandatory evacuations. A Type 1 incident team is being flown in and will take over command Sunday night. Now, as you can see here behind me, a lot of smoke filling the Yosemite Valley. Multiple campgrounds inside the park have already been closed, and if you don't have to, it's not a good idea to come up here anytime soon. In Yosemite, Jack Heiberger, CBS 47 Eyewitness News.
Now, we're told that one firefighter with CAL FIRE was injured today. No word right now on the extent of his injuries. He was taken to the hospital. As we look ahead to tomorrow, more firefighters are being called in from all around the state, and that should double their manpower out here. We're live in Oakhurst. Tony Body, CBS 47 Eyewitness News.
Including shots to his head and to his back. He is at the hospital right now, and police say at last report he was in very serious condition. Once again, they are looking for the suspects and the getaway car. That getaway car, a 1997 to 98 white Chevy Suburban. It has large chrome rims. If you know anything about this case, if you believe that you've seen this Suburban, it also has some damage from hitting another driver. You're asked to call Crime Stoppers at 498-STOP. That's Crime Stoppers at 498-STOP. You will remain anonymous, and you could be eligible for a reward up to $1,000. Live in Southeast Fresno, Catherine Herr, CBS 47 Eyewitness News.
We're up 500 feet with Fresno police. You can see the glass all around. If a laser were to hit, it would light up the interior and make for a very dangerous situation.
He's starting to work the FLIR for this because we're going to stay a little bit wide.
Flying blind, that's what it's like when pilots become the victims of people pointing lasers at aircraft. In the past 6 years, Fresno police helicopter pilot Ken Schneider has experienced this about a dozen times.
I think it was like right there.
Including just last night as he and a tactical officer were patrolling from the air.
As we were trying to figure out where it was, he became a little bit disoriented with flash blindness because of the intensity of the green laser. And then we were struck and tracked again with that same green laser as we continued westbound.
What looks like a pinpoint light on the ground expands as it hits the aircraft, illuminating the entire cockpit and temporarily blinding the pilot.
So what that's doing, I'm trying to prevent from getting a direct strike in the eyes.
Flying over a metropolitan area, that kind of danger puts both those in the air and on the ground at risk.
If I'm not able to control the aircraft and have an unfortunate incident where we crash, wherever we land, if there's people around, they're going to be impacted as well.
It's not child's play. All lasers come with warning labels. Pointing a laser at an aircraft is a federal offense. If it's prosecuted federally, it carries up to a 5-year sentence.
This is a serious felony charge, and if you get caught, you will be arrested for that.
According to the FBI, there were almost 4,000 reports of lasers striking aircraft last year. And in March, a Clovis man with an extensive criminal record was sentenced to 14 years in prison for pointing a laser at the Fresno police helicopter and interfering with its operations.
The FBI is taking these crimes very seriously. They're offering rewards of $10,000 for reports of lasers striking aircraft, and that will lead to an arrest. In Fresno, Raquel Cervantes, KC24, local news that matters.
In the northwest corner of Yosemite National Park, you'll find Hetch Hetchy Valley. Granite cliffs stand on either side where the earth was forced apart, carved by a glacier. Water from the high country runs down the Tuolumne River and ends up here at O'Shaughnessy Dam.
It's the one time in American history that we've gone into one of our national parks and allowed such destruction.
Spreck Rosecrans is the executive director of Restore Hetch Hetchy, a nonprofit organization that wants to get rid of O'Shaughnessy Dam and restore Hetch Hetchy Valley to its original state. Take a look at your screen. That's no dog wandering through a neighborhood in the Tower District. It's a coyote, an urban coyote with its own collar. No one knows how it got here, but neighbors have been tracking it for the last month or so. Thea Simon has seen the coyote when she's walking her dog.
She follows us in the morning, follows us at night.
At first, Thea was alarmed, but she says the coyote does not go after the neighborhood animals.
Up the street here, they have a lot of cats, and at night when we're walking, you'll see her like weave in and out of the cats, and the cats look at her, she looks at the cat. It's nothing.
Neighbors have snapped pictures as the coyote wanders from yard to yard, even stopping to say hello to dogs out for a walk. Neighbors have nicknamed it Tower Coyote, or TC.
And he's a very, very beautiful animal, although he is semi-tame, which is what we're concerned about.
The Department of Fish and Wildlife thinks the coyote was someone's attempt at a pet.
Occasionally people do run into small coyotes out in the field or out in the woods when they're out, and they do think that they're good pets to scoop up and take home. But they do eventually break out and it causes a bunch of trouble.
They'll try to trap TC with a net, catch pole, or possibly a tranquilizer dart, and relocate him or her to a more suitable environment.
Right now we're going to look for some kind of placement option. So once we get it, we'll evaluate it, make sure it's healthy, that it doesn't have any odd diseases or anything. And then we'll look for some kind of zoo or facility that can take it and keep it as a captive animal.
The battle against huge wildfires in California takes place on two fronts.
Retardant and aircraft.
On the ground and from the air. That's where the pilots from the United States Forest Service come in.
The ground support plays a major role, but without the air support, they've got a long day ahead of them.
En route the incident, they were off Capitol at 1939 hours ETE 35 minutes.
The Fresno Air Attack Base fuels and loads fire retardant on 20 fixed-wing planes and choppers fighting the wildfires. The concept is part airport, part racetrack.
I'd like to put you on pit 1 at the far end of the ramp.
It's kind of like a pit stop. They pull in. We know what to do. We hook up the hoses and we load up the retardant, and off they go to the fire.
The battalion chief makes it sound easy, but it's not. It's dangerous from the time the planes and the choppers take off to the time they drop their fire retardant and come back, and it requires constant oversight.
We have an air attack plane that flies above the fire and directs all of the air tankers below on the tactics and strategies used to drop the retardant on the fire.
The air attack is monitored constantly with real-time GPS systems, and sophisticated ground control structures are also in place.
Here's Fresno, and you can see the aircraft.
The base in Fresno is vital. Location is everything.
What makes Fresno so unique and so valuable, having an air tanker base here, is we are so centrally located that we can be in Northern California, Southern California, or head east into the United States very quickly.
A Sky Crane heavy helicopter can carry 3,000 gallons of retardant. The large air tankers can carry up to 20,000 gallons. And on the West Coast, there are 15 such bases.
South Ops Fresno Tanker Base, Yosemite, correction.
The planes and the choppers require constant maintenance, making sure they're up to their life-saving jobs, a job that makes Fresno ground zero in the attack on California wildfires.
1913.
Simply put, this is not something that happens every day. As the water here behind me rose earlier this evening, so too did concern. During one of the driest summers on record, water became the problem.
I don't think the car's going to make it out.
Residents along the Alta Canal packed up and saved what they could. The cause, a gaping 20-foot hole in a levee that sent water rushing across Highway 180.
At the deepest, it was about knee deep, so approximately 12 to 18 inches in large areas around the home.
The levee was breached just after 6:30. Resident Dalton Morgan was miles away when he heard the news.
And so I hurried over here and saw all this damage. It's crazy.
Like many families, the Morgans turned their car into a makeshift shelter for valuables. CAL FIRE says quick action subdued the flow of water, and repairs should begin by morning.
The water basically traveling from Avocado Lake to here is the only water remaining in the canal, and then as that subsides, so will the leak.
Damage estimates are unknown. A total of 5 families were affected, and many hope insurance will step in to help out. Now, as far as pinpointing a cause of this levee breach, that'll be up to the Alta Irrigation District. Near Minkler, Jack Heiberger, KC24, Local News and Matters.